There's the Gooner talk apparently because I've completely forgotten what I was going to say there. To the Gooner talk, it has been an incredible summer. Deadline day is done. Window is now closed. I am exhausted, as you can already tell from the lackluster intro to this video. But we're there. We're finished. We're done. Arsenal have got their business over the line. It seems maybe with one more to be announced even after the closure of the window. But there's some even more intriguing news that's occurring up in the north west of the country on Merseyside with Everton, and we're going to talk about both of the deals that have been announced, or one still yet to be announced, of course, and get your reaction in our group chat. So welcome to the show. Of course, if you're enjoying the series, please give it a like. Please subscribe if you're new around here with those notifications turned on. So let's start with the good news, or the great news, the better news, however you want to really look at it. And that is, of course, that Kieran Tierney has signed for Arsenal on a long-term deal. Now, I'm not going to talk too much about Kieran Tierney. One, because there's another story that's breaking that's very interesting. And another is because there's going to be another show this evening. I'm going to do a tactical breakdown with Brian McVeigh, Q&A show, and he's going to give you all the lowdown. Big Celtic writer. And he's going to give you all the lowdown on Kieran Tierney, strengths, weaknesses, what he's like, what we can expect, everything. So he's going to bring you all that information. But in terms of just the reaction, obviously, it's great. I really didn't think this was going to happen in the end. It was getting to the end of the window and we weren't hearing anything. It had gone completely quiet. And now we've finally got our man. In terms of what you guys are saying in the chat, obviously, there's a lot of talk about what the other deal is. And it's probably worth talking about that now. Baron Letchford says, always enjoy these live shows. Great work throughout the transfer window, mate. No problem at all. So apologies for the lighting. I'm in the conservatory. For those who watch the podcast will know the private joke behind that. But there's plenty of sun out today. Let's talk about it then. Let's talk about the one that I know that everyone wants to talk about. And that is, of course, that Alex Iwobi is looking like he's going to Everton for 35 to 40 million pounds, according to David Ornstein, which you can see there on your screen. Submitted the sheet was submitted before the 5 p.m. deadline, so that was all done. This is an incredible piece of business by Arsenal. Everton fans, if you're watching, thank you very much. I like Alex Iwobi, don't get me wrong. I think he's a good player. I think he had a lot of potential at 23 years of age. But we know for someone of his age, I think that he had to get last season, he really had to hit the ground running. And last season, let's be honest, wasn't of a standard that a lot of people would expect Arsenal players to be playing at. And if we had a better player in his position, playing more regularly like we now do with Nicolas Pepe, obviously not on the same side, but still a winger, then of course I think that it's quite right that we let him go. And to get £40 million for him, £40 million is absolutely insane. Raul Sanllehi has won the transfer window for Arsenal. Absolutely won it. If you think about how much we've spent on players this window, we talk about the Saliba deal, the Pepe deal, the Tierney deal. If you think about all those, the Saliba deal was obviously 30 million, but that was only about 5 to 10 million was that upfront this summer. The Pepe deal, 72 million, but only 20 million of that was this summer. We look at the Tierney, most of that was upfront, between 15 and 20 million was upfront of that deal. So you're looking there at about 45. You then got the Dani Ceballos loan, which was about 3 to 5 million pounds for his loan signing for that season. And Martinelli's deal was obviously £6 million as well. And David Luiz is going to cost around about £8 million. So if you think about all of those, and then you consider that we've sold Christian Bielik for £8 million, we've sold Ospina for £3 million, we've sold Koscielny for £5 million, we got some sell-on clause from Benassa going to AC Milan. We've sold a couple of others, some youngsters. Thompson's gone. So to get in that and then add that to the 40 million that we could be getting for Alex Iwobi, my God, we've spent nothing. We've spent nothing this summer. And we're saying that this summer is an 8 out of 10 because I'm saying it's an 8 out of 10 now. I was on about a 7.5 until this news broke. 8 out of 10 this summer for me. I was expecting about a 5 out of 10 this summer. I weren't expecting anything big. I knew we had to do something big if we wanted to compete, but I didn't expect it. And now it's happened, and for me that's unbelievable, and that means we can reinvest in January. It means we can go next summer after we've brought Saliba in. Maybe we can do a bigger push for Upamecano. Who knows? But I think Arsenal have been brilliant. Let's get some of your reaction then, because this is what you're all here for. I'm going to scroll back right to the start to get some of your reactions. Alex Iwobi is our highest player sold ever, says Brandon Jason. Brilliant stuff there. Corey Ross, Iwobi gone for £38 million. Martin Colton says, God bless Everton and their 40 million. David Logwood says, what a WTF happened with Iwobi? Nearly said it there. Corey Ross says, Nelson and Martinelli can replace Iwobi. I think that's a big thing about this. You've also got Saka as well. They can all play on the left wing. We've got plenty of cover there. I'm happy for that. I think we can sign cover also in January if we need to improve, but I am delighted with this deal. It's absolutely brilliant. Edward Denham says, I can't believe Alex has left. Yeah, there is some sadness behind it. A lot of people did back him a lot of the time, and yes, it is sad always when a player leaves, but to get £40 million for Alex Iwobi is a great deal. It's a really, really good deal. Should have charged Everton 50 to 60 just because of who they are, says the 10 rules of the game. Ty says, how do I feel about it? I've told you how I feel. I'm ultimately happy because of the money that we've got for him. I think that's brilliant. I think that we can reinvest that money. We've got a really strong chance to go even harder next summer or next January even. So I think it's a really great deal. Gustavino says, it's not official about Iwobi. It's not. But we're sort of treating this as it is. Ornstein says that the deal is agreed. It just all the formalities need to go through. Obviously, we'll keep you updated throughout. It's on Sky Sports News now, says Chris MB. What about David Luiz, says Rich? Yep, David Luiz, don't worry, be patient. He will be coming into the Arsenal. Craig Tanner says, for the money being quoted, I think it's great business. We can now trust and give Nelson and Saka a chance, who are arguably better in terms of potential anyway. Let Upamecano go. I know it's not going to happen this summer. It's not, but it might happen in the next few transfer windows. 50 million is what Fernando reckons. I don't think it's that much. Eddie Nketiah, obviously, left on loan, as Budicon says there. I think that it's a great deal for Eddie Nketiah. He goes, leads. There's a relationship with the manager and the technical staff there that the agreement is he's going to play quite a few games. So I'm looking forward to seeing how he gets on. Can't wait. Best of luck to Eddie. Really, really good business once again. Why Lau says, surely that means we can get Upamecano. Not in this transfer window. Unfortunately, the deadline has gone. It is closed. It is there. Sky Sports says there's 6 Premiership deals still to go through. Yep, well, 2 of those we know are Iwobi and David Luiz, it seems. 40 million for Iwobi is a sick deal, says Rasmus. Yes, everyone is getting very excited about this deal. Bring Coutinho in loan now. It's too late. We can't sign anyone. It's too late now, people. Jonathan says Nelson's chance to gain first team opportunity is now there. He also adds that it's great business. Chizaram says, I love Iwobi, but for 40 million, you've just got to say yes, and we have done, and it's great. You can see what BTK doesn't reckon. Epidemic says he's about to cry. Hopefully that's some tears of joy for the absolute fantastic business that we've done. I'm so sorry. Huzaifa says that Raul Sanllehi is our signing of the season. Obviously, he signed quite a while ago, but he's only really had to impact now, and it's really, really good business. Gutted, wrong player sold, says Ian Hibbert. He's actually a big fan of him. As I said, I also liked Alex Iwobi a lot, but for that money, sometimes every player has a price, and we got double it. So who can blame us? Anush says, hi, Tom. Great business by Arsenal. Absolutely fantastic. Big Leg says, Spurs got Lo Celso. Lo Celso obviously going to Spurs. Yes, we can say that. They also got Ryan Sessegnon, but they didn't get. They didn't get Paulo Dybala. They didn't get Philippe Coutinho. And they were rubbing it in our faces that they were going to bring them in. All they did in the summer was buy an Ndombele. Good player. Admit that. Really, really good player. But then on top of that, they've signed Lo Celso, who at PSG was a second-string player, went to Real Betis, had a decent season, but he's not proven at a top club. So if he comes in and does really well, I'll hold my hands up. But I've got a lot of reservations about Lo Celso. He plays in similar positions to that of Ali and Eriksson, so he's got competition there. He's not a player that they needed. They needed to bring in defensive reinforcements. They needed a better left-back. They needed a supporting striker for Harry Kane. Didn't get that in. They arguably needed a right-back as well because Trippier went. They've got Aurier there. They're not going to be doing that great in that position. I think that Spurs are going to struggle this season, and that's just my opinion. You can write me up, you can quote me, you can video it. I don't care, and I'll hold my hands up if I'm wrong. But I think that they are fully behind us this season, and I can't wait to see what happens. Hi, Tom. Great content as usual, says Wilson. Thank you very much, mate. James Hughes says play Everton next and watch Iwobi, Khan, Richarlison, or Kieran, I think you pronounce it, running at Mustafi and Luis. Is that a good thing? You're saying he's running at Mustafi and Luis, but he'll also have Bellerin and Kieran Tierney to worry about getting back. So I'm absolutely fine with that. Smart Snickers says Iwobi still has a lot of potential. He does, but it won't be at Arsenal. The Fab19 isn't happy. He says no, Iwobi is going, crying faces. The Gooners Let's Talk says Please answer this. Can we still process a loan deal after the deadline? We can't lose Iwobi and Eddie. Surely we are short of cover now. No, we're not short of cover at all. If you think about our forward options and what we have now, we've got Aubameyang, Lacazette as our strikers, which is great. Other players that can play in the striking role, we've got Martinelli, who's come in, can play in a central role, mainly a left winger, can play on the right wing as well, but he can play in a central role, did that for Ituano. You've got Nicolas Pepe, who began at Angers and at some points at Lille more centrally, can also play in that role. So if we need cover, he can play it as well. You've then got the likes of Saka, you've got Nelson, you've got Mkhitaryan. We've got plenty of players there that can do a job or play well in those wide positions. I am under no illusions that we haven't got enough depth. I think we do have enough depth, and I think there's plenty there. And I think if we need to reinvest in January, we now have the financial ability to do that because we've not spent anything. In fact, I think we've made money this summer off of this deal, possibly, which is insane. Kelechi is now an Everton fan, says Praveen. Henry Dozy says, great deal by Arsenal. Hope there is a buyback clause. Very interesting. I doubt it. I reckon we might put a sell-on clause in, though, for 100%. Emily says, 40 million to Iwobi. I will sell, and sell. But wait a minute. What's Ozil and Mickey doing at Arsenal? It's a fair opinion. Obviously, you're entitled to it. I disagree. I think Mkhitaryan and Ozil are in for a good season, so I'm looking forward to that. Arsenal announcement video needs to be a shot of Koscielny's kit on a steak fire as the camera zooms out on Luis wearing number 6 in this season's kit facing the burning kit and turns around laughing, Craig Tanner says. Well, Craig, you're a little bit dark, mate. I like the enthusiasm. It's a little bit dark. I would like to see Louise turn around and rip off a Chelsea shirt to reveal an Arsenal shirt underneath. That'd be brilliant. Dominic Ben says that you have to credit the new regime for these sales. They would have all been sold on a free a year ago. Again, we always keep coming back to this fact that at the end of the day, the regime at the club have done brilliantly. I'm just going to refresh the Arsenal website just to see if David Luiz has been announced. I don't think he has. He hasn't. Obviously, those watching on playback will be laughing knowing that he has already signed. But let's talk about a couple of things that are going to happen for you this evening. Thank you to the over 800 of you that are tuning in live. Absolutely great. Please like the video if you're enjoying it. 2 things that are coming for you this evening. First one, as soon as David Luiz is announced, you will be getting a tactical breakdown with Tony from Chelsea SW6, who is going to be doing a Q&A style video with me. It's already recorded, already done, and ready to go for you guys. As soon as Luiz is announced, it will be uploaded. That'll be out there giving you all the lowdown on what the Chelsea fans think about the deal, what he's like, strengths, weaknesses. And Tony, believe me, is a big fan of David Luiz. So you're going to be getting a very comprehensive and unbiased sort of breakdown of David Luiz. So that's going to be coming to you this evening. Second of all, later on this evening, I'll be able to edit together a video with Brian McVeigh, Celtic writer. Massive stuff about Celtic that he writes. Knows Kieran Tierney at the back of his hand. Absolutely gutted that he's going to Arsenal. We're going to do a Q&A style show with him tonight as well. So you've got 2 shows to all catch up on this evening. So that's going to be good. But I'm going to continue to read some through your comments before we wrap things up. Brian says, is Iwobi really sold? Sky have confirmed David Luiz. Still here at 2:30 a.m. Keep up the good work, Tom. Thank you very much, Ben. Obviously, over there in Australia, staying up late. Subsystem 101 says, Mickey is still at Arsenal. He is. He is still at Arsenal. But I think he's going to have a good season. Let's have a scroll through and see some more. Title says we sold Iwobi for 40 million. Laugh my arse off, says Twerking Man. Yeah, I still can't get my head around this whatsoever. Praveen says, I feel bad for Zaha. The Zaha deal was really intriguing over the summer, wasn't it? A lot of people turned around and said, if we're getting 40 million in for Iwobi, we probably should have made a play for Zaha much earlier. It's a bit gutting that Everton couldn't sort out this deal for Iwobi earlier on in the window. We might have been able to reinvest that quite a lot. An interesting message is coming from John, Miami John, who's obviously going to be on the podcast this season. In terms of the young guys that we've got in this team now, if we read through some of them, they're actually in the first team from 24 years and younger. We'll start at the top. Bellerin, 24. Holding, 23. Torreira, 23. Tierney, 22. Mavropanos, 21. Guendouzi, 20. Willock, 19. Smith Rowe, 19. Reece Nelson, 19. Martinelli, 18. Saliba, 18. And Saka, 17. Now that, tell me another club in the Premier League with some absolute beast players at the younger ages of 24 than Arsenal right now. That is an absolutely astonishing amount of quality in Arsenal's youth, not even youth system now, in our even first and our first team setup. We've got some fantastic players to see coming through at Arsenal. And I personally can't wait to see it. It's going to be absolutely fantastic. Any news about Louise? My role says there, just be patient, mate. He will be announced. Don't you worry. Solo says there, Iwobi knew it was time when Arsenal signed Pepe. It was interesting, weren't there? Because there was an article that went out earlier on in the window that Iwobi did with a newspaper about the possibility of Wilfried Zaha coming in. And Zaha coming in, he said that he wouldn't be scared by it. But obviously, Everton come in. The thing about Everton is, I'm actually intrigued because I want to look through Everton's entire squad. If we have a look at Everton on transfer market and their squad, and we can have a look at how well he might actually fit into their lineup. So Everton's squads for this season, they've made a couple of signings. Obviously, Moise Kean came in as well. I'm going to share this on the screen so you can see it too. Let's have a look at Everton's squad, see how Iwobi may fit in there. Here we go. So in terms of what they've got in a front line, obviously they sold Lookman, which was it was a good signing for RB Leipzig, let's be honest. But they've got Cenk Tosun and Umar Niasse still there. Wow. Centre forwards, Calvert-Lewin still there. He's obviously a very good young striker that they're going to be using. They've got obviously our former Theo Walcott there. Yannick Bolasie has apparently gone to Anderlecht. I feel like this is an old squad. Am I looking? This is 1920. It still says 1920. But we've got, who else? We've got Gylfi Sigurdsson, Richarlison, Bernard. If you think about it, right? So my thinking is Dominic Calvert-Lewin's going to be striker, okay? You've then got Moise Kean and Richarlison as a front three, possibly Bernard. Iwobi, £35 million. Yes or no in the chat box? Tell me now, yes or no in the chat box. Does Iwobi even get into their starting lineup? Because I'm seeing Calvert-Lewin or Richarlison up top. I'm seeing Bernard and Moise Kean on the wings. Are you telling me that Iwobi gets in that team? My only thinking is that he'd be more central, but then, oh, wait, they've got Gylfi Sigurdsson there. 35 to 40 million pounds on Iwobi doesn't get into their first team. Is that someone that we really need to be worrying about? A lot of people are saying yes in the chat, actually. They're saying as they can, but you have to think about Gylfi Sigurdsson going there. Are you saying that he might be better than Bernard or possibly Richarlison or even Moise Kean? Because I don't think he is. The fact that Iwobi went for 35 to 40 million, they got Moise Kean for less than 30 million. A lot of people seem to think, yes, very interesting. I actually think differently. I don't think he gets into their starting 11 with everyone there fit. I'm really, really intrigued by that. There's a typo in the title, says Twerking Man. Is there? I'll definitely check that out and change it. Martinez says that Martinez is going to be a big surprise there. Zununpula, or Paya, I'm so sorry, says that he's going to replace Bernard this season. Which is going to be interesting. I like Bernard a lot. In fact, he was linked to Arsenal quite a lot when he was at Shakhtar. And actually, when he was in Brazil, he was still linked to Arsenal. I think that Arsenal will regret selling Iwobi, says Kel. He's going to nutmeg David Silva, says Drunky Owl. Finally profiting off our players, says Reno. Everton have a very strong squad now, says Mr. Cookies. I absolutely agree with that. I think that Everton have a really strong squad to push for that top six. They can challenge them. So do Wolves, so do Leicester. West Ham have improved a lot as well. It's going to be a really, really tough season for a lot of teams. We've got to see a lot of quality coming into the Premier League now. And it's going to be intriguing to see how everyone fares. Kieran King said we should have swapped him for Digne, or Luca Dean, if you want to call him that. I think Luca Dean is a great player. But we obviously couldn't bring him in. But we've got Kieran Tierney now, so why do we need to worry about that in terms of what we're doing? So Martinez is going to be a big surprise. Martinez said we've talked about that. I think we're sort of rounding down now. Let's have a quick refresh of the Arsenal page just to see if they've announced anything regarding David Luiz. They haven't. Okay, we're going to wrap things up here. Thank you ever so much for tuning in. Of course, I said there's 2 shows still. Oh, actually, I lied. There's 3 shows for you still to come today. 3 more shows. It's gone past deadline day. It's 5:30 in the afternoon, and you've still got 3 shows to tune in for. First one, David Luiz. As soon as he announced, you're going to see a reaction with Chelsea's SW6 Tony, who's going to Q&A style show about David Luiz. So tune in, subscribe, put the notifications on, find out when that drops. You're also going to get a Q&A tactical breakdown with Brian McVeigh of Reed Celtic, who's going to break down Kieran Tierney for you, give you all the information you need. You're then at 9 o'clock going to get your third live show of the day in the form of a Transfer Roundup podcast. At the moment, it's myself, Drew, and Lee Judges are going to be on the show at 9 o'clock. So please do tune in for that. Maybe we'll get a fourth person on as well. So please do tune in for all of those. Thank you ever so much, everyone in the live chat who's been tuning in, leaving your comments. Chris P says, dude, super chat. I can't actually see. That's the only thing about using these Streamlabs is I can't see the super chats at the moment. I'm going to have to sort something out. I'm going to have the others going on here so I can see if anyone's actually donating. Thank you ever so much, anyone who did, and apologies if I didn't see that. Thank you ever so much, people, for tuning in. I'll see you a little bit later on this evening for the 3 more shows tonight. Please leave a like on the video for the amount of effort that's been going into these videos all transfer window. I'll see you again very, very soon. And as always, up the Arsenal.